Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here because it only makes sense with the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out in theaters to rank my least favorite all the way to what I think is the best Ninja Turtles movie to date. Let's start this list with what I think is the worst Turtles movie ever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Yes, I know, this movie is so bad. It honestly commits one of the biggest sins you could commit with the Turtles movie, is that you made it boring. A boring plot where the Turtles do what? They go back in time! What the fuck? And as a kid, this was one of the movies that I watched a lot because I owned it on VHS. Like, I would watch it over and over again, not realizing how shitty it was. I just wanted something to watch with the Turtles. I didn't realize how lame this was, how dumb the plot is, how boring it is, or how bad the prosthetics of the Turtles looks compared to the original two movies. This one, not only is it cheaper, but it has like black spots all over them, like they have chicken pox, or turtle pox, or whatever the fuck they were going for. The only good thing you could say about this movie is that they brought Casey Jones back. The actor who played him in the first movie, he wasn't in the second movie. They brought him back here. But what do they do with him? They have him babysitting. He's babysitting the four ninjas or whatever who swap places with the Turtles. And Casey Jones is just literally babysitting them. Comedy is what they use him for. And then they use the actor to play another character in the past, but he's a villain. What the fuck? Fuck that movie. Next up, I would have to say the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, TMNT 2, the 2016 version. Because sure, unlike this movie I just said, this movie it's not boring. There's a lot going on. Some would say too much going on. If you're a fan of the 80s cartoon, or like a huge mega fan of it, then maybe you would love the fact that they brought Bebop and Rocksteady, or the fact that Krang is the villain, or the fact that it's just so over the top and chaotic and crazy. Sure, that's true, but it's just a little too much. Some of this stuff I think worked better in cartoon. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm older now, but I watch Krang in this movie and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. It is. Bebop and Rocksteady, they're stupid as well, but they weren't as bad or annoying as they could have been. They were annoying, but not that bad. Compared to Krang, it was a joke. It was ridiculous. I'm like, this is something... Here I am thinking that they rely on Shredder too much. It's because look at the other villains that the Turtles have. How much further do you want to take this craziness? And then Shredder is wasted in the movie. Absolutely nothing. They brought Casey Jones into this remade version, and sure, it's cool that they have him here, but the version that Stephen Amell plays, I just don't like it. He's too happy-go-lucky and too just not vigilante enough. Megan Fox is sleepwalking through this movie more so than she did ever before. Ugh, I was not happy. I wasn't. Nostalgia will not save that movie, in my opinion. Next up, TMNT, which some people like really hate this movie, and like I'm not saying I love it, but I think it's a little underrated. It's one of the more serious tones of any Turtles movie, if you can believe that. You have obviously the big blowout between Raphael and Leonardo, because this is set sort of in the future where the Turtles have branched off and they're doing their own thing, and Raphael is a vigilante with this metal armor and he's going off in the streets fighting crime. That was fucking awesome. It was. I mean, sure, you know, it's not the greatest feeling just to see the Turtles practically broken up, and especially the fight that Raph and Leo have. Sure, it's hard to watch, but it's also cool to watch. And the CGI, I think, is great. The rain during that scene especially. Good stuff, good stuff. I guess the only caveat is that, okay, so that stuff is going on, the small stuff, but the main villain, forgettable, generic. There's nothing else really behind either the villain or the story. I still think it's fun. I still think there's plenty of worthwhile things in there, but I can understand why people don't love it either. Next is, some people might think it's a sin that I have it kind of this low on the list. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Some people love this movie. Some people, I think it's pure nostalgia, that they love it and that they find it fun and all this stuff. And I'm not denying that there's not fun stuff in it, sure, but this movie kind of goes full retard. See, as much as we'll get to the movie that I love the most, but as much as I love that, you do the sequel where it is so cartoony and goofy, and I get it, it's Turtles. I get why your first thought, like producers, their first thought isn't to go serious. But it can be done. We've proved that it can be done. They go so cartoony here. They don't even let the Turtles use their weapons because they got afraid for kids to see that. Really? They can't use their fucking weapons? They don't use Casey Jones in this movie and replace it with the little kid, Kato, whatever his name was. I was not a fan of any of that. Sure, it's great that they have Shredder back, and they have Baxter Stockman here, and they create the two creatures that are fake knocks off of Bebop and Rocksteady. All of that is true. And some people love that Vanilla Ice Go Ninja Go song. I can admit it's catchy, but the way how it's used in this movie, with the whole concert and how the Turtles go in there to fight, and they just stop and do like a performance music video thing. It's like, okay, this is too much. This is too silly. You lose me after that. As a kid, I probably liked it, but when you watch it now, it does not hold up. And as cool as the idea is of Super Shredder, and when he does become Super Shredder, and it's Kevin Nash playing him, I'm like, holy fuck, what's going to happen here? This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight, until he just kind of kills himself by knocking the thing on top of him. Really? Good job. Now, my second favorite, I guess, Ninja Turtles movie, the fact that this is this high on the list kind of tells you how many great Ninja Turtles movies there's been. But it's the reboot from 2014, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not everybody loves this movie. Some people hate it. That's fine. It's okay. I don't love the new design. I don't love how big they are, how much they look like the Hulk. And just, it kind of defeats a lot of the purposes of why I like the Turtles. And sure, the plot is too big, too grandiose, what Shredder what he wants to do. All of that is true, but hey, it's still pretty fun. It's not too over-the-top fun, but it's fun. And at least Megan Fox is trying. She's not the best cast as April O'Neil, but she's trying more here. She is trying to be a reporter and investigate these Turtles. I love the beginning when the Turtles are in the shadows and they're going after the Foot Clan, and Megan Fox is on to them and following them. And I love the scene on the rooftop where she passes out and Raph is using his Batman voice. Like, there's good stuff in there. I think more good than the people are willing to give it credit for. It's funny that if people shit on this movie but love the newest one, it's complete opposite for me. And sure, there is some big action set pieces in here, but it's not too overloaded. It doesn't just hover over the movie. It's there when it needs to be. Like the avalanche scene is awesome. It really is. So what I really want to talk about, though, is my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It's not a surprise by now that I would say the original classic, the 1990 movie. I love this film. I do. This movie, when I talk about serious tone and darker and gritty, this isn't like a Nolan movie. I'm not saying it's super heavy and super dark, but it's a lot more serious than any of these other movies have been, and that's my point. You can take the Turtles, you can put them in a New York setting where Shredder and the Foot Clan are basically taking runaway teenagers, kids, and coercing them to join the Foot Clan and commit all of these crimes and using them for his needs. Like, that's dark. That's interesting. That's subtext where it's not too much in your face, but the material's still there. The Turtles all have good personalities. I love Raphael feeling like an outsider, going off on his own with the trench coat and hat. It's a ridiculous disguise, but it works. I love seeing him walk around the city. The moment where he runs into Casey Jones. This is Casey Jones. He's a badass, he's a vigilante, he's serious when he has to be, and he cracks jokes when he wants to. It works. It's the perfect balance. They haven't done Casey Jones better than in this movie. And this April O'Neil is the best April, in my opinion. It's the only one that this actress did, but I still like her. I like how she comes into contact with the Turtles as well. Then she immediately wants to help them. The fact that Splinter gets taken by Shredder in the scene where he's getting tortured, and then Splinter's trying to connect with one of the kids there. Great stuff. Great stuff. This movie, just the music, the opening score, the scene with Michelangelo where they're getting the pizza, and he doesn't pay the guy because he was late with the pizza. Like, I love this movie. I do. They have not been able to do better than this. My opinion, of course. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. We can talk about it. Do you have a list? What's your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? What's your least favorite? I want to know. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!